What's better than microgreens? Sprouts. And before we continue, buy my swag. Just kidding. We have no swag. Everything's toxic. Everything's harmful. I have looked into, things of this nature, and everything's harmful. So as far as I'm concerned, swag is not coming. This is not cheap. This hat that we got didn't work out for Dave. Doesn't fit him right. Fits weird for me too. But this was like 30 bucks or something like that. And I'm trying it out, seeing if it works for me. Hopefully it does. So no swag, guys. If you want to support this work, then we've got Patreon, Substack, Buy Me a Coffee, those sorts of things. And if you subscribe on Patreon or Substack, then you do get access to members only content as well, which I post when I'm able to. It varies based on my health. Everything varies based on my health and what I got going on. So sprouts. I have been doing sprouts for six or 7 years. And I used to buy sprouts, probably about 6 years. I used to buy sprouts, and then I went, wait, I could probably grow my own sprouts. And they're so easy, you guys. It's amazing. It's wonderful how easy sprouts are to grow. Now, do you have to buy these special lids? No, I'll link to, sprouting lids. These are stainless steel, and then you use a stainless steel band. And a wide mouth canning jar, which most people have a wide mouth canning jar. But if you don't want to spend any money, which I didn't initially, then you can just use any kind of glass jar that you have. And when you rinse, then you just put your fingers here and keep as much in as you can. And that's that. So the things that I have sprouted myself, these are beet sprouts, and that's what I'm growing a lot of this winter is beet sprouts, because I've got a 25-pound bag of beet seeds. And also I just played with my seed stash yesterday. If I could be accused of hoarding anything, it's seeds. I love seeds. The seeds are so cool. It's just like magic almost, how they, this thing that seems dead, and you give it some water and there you got food. I mean, it's so cool. Seeds are so cool. I'm going to stop talking about how cool seeds are and continue. Now, obviously these are beet. These are perfectly fine to eat right now as is. I will eat this jar either tomorrow or the following day. I have a video on smoothies, my smoothie recipe, what I used to put in my smoothies. I do still have smoothies maybe once a week or so. Sometimes more, depends. Mostly the main ingredient in my smoothies is wild foraged blackberries. And I've still got wild blackberries in my freezer from last summer, so it's pretty awesome. So these go well in smoothies. I did try lettuce sprouts, and the lettuce seed just sat there and didn't do anything. So I can't recommend trying that. If you want to experiment, then of course I always encourage personal experimentation. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I experiment all the time, constantly, with all sorts of things, especially with gardening. I love to experiment with gardening and do all of the things that all of the so-called gardening experts say are completely impossible. Broccoli sprouts, you can use broccoli seeds to sprout, turnip, radish. I'm sure there are others, but those are the ones that I've tried personally. I also did try some dock seeds. I tried sprouting dock seeds because there's a lot of dock that grows here. I found it, I discovered it, and then I cultivated it. I encouraged it to grow on its own, and so we've got dock growing in a lot of areas here on our property, and that's how I like it. It is food and it is medicine. It's amazing stuff. I just love dock so much. It's so cool. It's also great chicken feed. The chickens aren't huge fans of it, but they will eat if they're hungry, some dock seeds. And the dock plant just produces so much dock seed. It's a biennial. It's amazing. But dock didn't work for sprouting for me. But again, hey, if you want to try it, then try it, as far as I'm concerned. So I've already shared, you don't necessarily have to buy any supplies, but I will link to some sprouting lids. The sprouting lids definitely do aid. They make things easier and faster. Do you have to buy specific seeds marketed for sprouting? Well, everybody will tell you, yeah, you have to. Well, these are just some seeds that I had in my seed stash that I'm not going to plant. So I'm going to these are just regular seeds. You buy a little seed packet. That's what these are right here. So do you have to? Well, I'm going to eat these. Not in my opinion, but this is not expert advice. So one of the health benefits that I find, besides just that they're super fun and easy, and I mean, it really doesn't get much cheaper than this. I mean, it's water and seeds. That's it. Is that I can use I can use sprouts as greens. I will link to my video on treating nerve damage naturally. I have nerve damage in my arms from Cipro, etc. from years ago because I trusted the experts and they nearly killed me. I was poisoned. Instead of buying greens in the winter, and instead of growing them under something, and I'll also link to my winter sowing post. That's very important. I'm actually going to be planting here very soon. Out in the garden, I'm going to start planting very soon in my winter sowing, because I'm still not the healthiest person in the world. You don't recover from the things that I have had done to me medically overnight, and there's some things I can't treat. I can't do anything about. I am sharing, you know, I'm continuing to do more research, and I'm sharing and I'm experimenting as I go. I've got more things that are helping me to share with you guys. But you don't... The Heptavax was given to me, hardly anybody got it, and it has been declared as a genocidal weapon by some Aborigine groups in Australia who received it, by some native Alaskans, Inuits, who received it, and a lot of people who got it died. It was given to me as a baby. So just that in and of itself, it's a miracle I'm alive. I'll also link to my post, How Am I Still Alive? Because there are so many things that were done to me, and so many drugs that were given to me that I was told it's fine, nothing to worry about, that other people have died from. It's but by the grace of God that I'm sitting here, guys. So, am I the healthiest person? No, of course not. Also, I'm a targeted individual. If you think targeted individuals are just mentally ill, then I will link to a post from a gentleman whose credentials I share, and his credentials are astounding. I call him DARPA Dude. Got a couple of videos from him where he's telling you right to your face. He does a lot. He's written numerous books, some of which I have read, and he's all up in all of the things that are terrible. So I've been digressing a bit in this video. I apologize. I've been having chest pains, and it's been a bit difficult for me lately. So be sure to sign up for our free newsletter, FYI. Totally free. I send it maybe once a week, if that, and sometimes I accidentally send a post or article or video instead of the newsletter because I clicked the wrong button or I failed to click a button. So there's that. But sprouts are just amazing. I hate spending money. I don't have a ton of money to spend, obviously, because I was poisoned. And this is so cheap. I don't have to buy kale. I don't have to buy, you know, I don't know, lettuce or whatever kind of green. I just grow it. It's so easy. So here's, I don't have one example to share with you, but the biggest issue that I have with with sprouting is that I always put too much seed in to begin with. And a little seed goes a long way. And this is consistently my problem. Because I end up with too much. So you might say, well, maybe you can preserve it. Yes, you can in a way. So I know you can ferment them. Some people have fermented them. I'm going to try fermenting them at some point. And the next time I have too many sprouts. So fermenting might be something to consider. But like I said, I haven't done it myself yet. I ferment everything else. So I may as well ferment sprouts. I did try freezing them, and yeah, you can freeze them, but when you take them out of the freezer, they're just gross mush. So I just threw them out. Just threw them out in the yard, actually. When you put, say, maybe 2 tablespoons in your jar, then you fill the jar up halfway with water or so, and you set it aside for 8 to 12 hours. Not exact. This is just like gardening. Nothing's exact. Then you put your sprouting lid on, dump it out, and then I rinse it again, dump it out. Now, a lot of people after that, and every, for you know, every 12 hours or so, they will set it at an angle in a dish of some sort. And I don't do that. I just shake it really well into the sink, and that works for me. And eventually, these guys aren't sprouting yet because I just now soaked these last night. Eventually, you'll start getting some sprouts. And what I do is I rinse, just put water in here, dump the water out, and then I shake it into the sink to get as much water out as I possibly can, but I don't get all the water out. And then I set it on my countertop. And I do this in the morning and in the evening, approximately every 12 hours. And after a period of time of who knows how long, it just kind of depends, I don't really pay much attention, then I have this. And so the way I eat it now, my sprouts, I eat my sprouts as like a salad. And so I've got my lemon cucumbers that are fermented from last year. I put them on there as though they are actual cucumber, or actual like fresh cucumbers. I've got fermented tomatoes I can put on there. I've got raw cheese, you know, sunflower seeds, oregano. I make my own dressing from olive oil and homemade vinegar. And I put some raw honey in there. By the way, the best price on raw honey that I've found, because we use a lot of raw honey here, I will link to that on Etsy, because it is clean raw honey, and it's just a fantastic price. Now, when we're using raw honey medicinally, such as for allergies, like outdoor allergies or hay fever sort of thing, then we do get raw honey from down the road. But I got, I think, 2 gallons of raw honey from, I can't remember the name, I think they're in Virginia or something. 2 gallons of raw honey for like $100 or something like that. It's a really reasonable price. So, I mean, they have smaller amounts as well, but that's the best price that I found. So, and then I have a salad. And so then I've got just salad greens constantly growing for me for the cost of water and seeds. And I have all of these seeds, so I'm not actually spending any additional money. What more could I ask for? Could you use seeds that you produced yourself? Yeah, I mean, depending on what it is. Like I said, lettuce just didn't work, which kind of stinks because lettuce is so easy to bolt. and it goes to seed overnight sometimes, at least for me. And so, but broccoli also can go to seed as well pretty easily, at least in my experience. So that might be another thing that you could sprout or grow your own broccoli seeds, that sort of thing. Kale, if I remember correctly, is that a biennial? I don't remember. Anyways, I've got some kale seeds that I need to dig out because I had kale that overwintered it was alive for 3 years here in southern Indiana. One kale plant was alive for, actually 2 were alive for 3 years. Last year, it got eaten by voles. Daggone things. Drive me nuts. So, should you try this yourself? Yeah, like I said, you don't even have to buy the lid. You can just put your hands here. It's not, perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. You're going to drop some seeds into your sink. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. But if you really want to save money and improve your health at the same time, then you really need to be taking at least part of your food supply into your own hand. Now, I personally produce or forage 80 to 95% of my own diet. I don't like to use the word diet, but 80 to 95% of what I eat, depending on the time of year, I made it myself or I foraged it outside. So, something to consider. I'll drop links below. Buy my swag. Just kidding. Non-toxic out.